Hi, it's Megan. I wanted to share with you some ways to help kids pay attention. And honestly, some ways that we can incorporate or some things we can incorporate into our own lives to help us as grown-ups pay attention as well. So the first one, unstructured play. So the research around this is actually pretty cool. But if kids have a chunk of unstructured playtime before some kind of a learning activity that's going to be a challenge, they actually do better. So a couple caveats with this. One, it has to be unstructured playtime. This is not play or recess or PE that is teacher or parent or grown-up directed, but this is kids directed free play. And the second caveat that I thought was really interesting, there are some studies that say it's between 10 and 30 minutes long. There was another study that looked at 4 and 5-year-olds that said it should be about 20 minutes long. But I read something that if it is longer than 30 minutes of unstructured play, it can actually have the opposite effect. So tip one for helping kids pay attention is to have a time period of unstructured play between 10 and 30 minutes before they engage in a challenging activity. So the second tip that I want to offer to help kids pay attention has to do with the phrase, pay attention. What does that actually mean? Have you ever had a conversation with your kids about what that looks like, sounds like, is like in reality? So here's what I would suggest, especially if you have younger kids. So I'd recommend sitting down with your child and having a conversation about what it means to pay attention. What does it look like? And what does it sound like? So when you're paying attention, what does it look like? You might be taking notes. Your eyes might be on the speaker, but this could be different for every child. What does it look like? You are not staring into space. For most kids, might be different for your kid. And what does it sound like? You're not talking to others. You're asking follow-up questions. Maybe also you think about what it looks like inside your head. The wheels in your head are spinning. The third tip that I would suggest to help your kids pay attention is to teach them to self-monitor. Here's how you can do that. Teach your child to self-monitor their attention. Set a timer for every so often. Every time it goes off, have your child think about if they are paying attention or not. You can track this by helping them create a T-chart. On one side, it's labeled paying attention. On the other side, need to redirect. When the timer goes off, they can track whether they were paying attention or whether they needed some redirection. And also, come up with some great strategies to help your child redirect. What helps them get back on task? The fourth thing you can do to help your child pay attention is to break down a task into smaller chunks. Sometimes we're just not paying attention because we are feeling overwhelmed, whether we're a child or a grown-up. So there's two ways you can break down a task. One, you can take a large task and break it down into smaller chunks, smaller steps to finish that end goal, that end product. And the second way we can break up a task is to break it up in chunks of time. So maybe we set a timer for every 5 or 10 minutes. And at the end of that timer, when it goes off, a child can have something that they find gratifying, something rewarding that helps them reach the end goal, but in piece by piece by piece. The fifth thing that can help you and your child pay attention is actually an easy one, but really hard when we are working and e-learning and all living at home together. Declutter. Cluttered space can really force us to have a cluttered mind. So if we clean up a child's working space, their learning space, that can really help them pay attention because they don't have all these things distracting them. Totally works for us as grown-ups too. And the last tip to help your child pay attention is a really fun one, but memory games. Even though the brain is not a muscle, we can train it to get stronger and stronger. by playing memory games that actually helps us improve our concentration and have a stronger brain. So have fun playing with your child. Memory games, matching, I Spy, anything like that that helps get your brain moving and grooving and helps improve attention and memory.